So the first thing we're going to start is looking at my sketchbook. This year I decided to go for more of a conventional style sketchbook. Last year I had quite a small one. I've always worked with small books because I always felt that my work was never... I don't know, I felt this thing to upscale my work to fill the page, and I felt like the size that it should be was just being eaten by the page. I also tend to find that my sketchbooks are rather neat in comparison to my studio space. I like to keep everything bordered, everything nice and tidy. So yeah, we'll just go through my sketchbook for the first couple of pages, and yeah, let's start. Okay, so I started my book with a lovely big paragraph. This paragraph is basically me explaining about a time when I went out and took my images. I took some images that I'm going to be constantly using throughout my work. I ended up selecting 3 of these images, which I think are on the next page, which I'll show you in a second. These images were taken in my local wooded area at home, and yeah, this is just basically me explaining how I took the images and why I took the images, and about my journey when I was there taking the images. And so these are the images that I've been working mainly with throughout my pieces at the moment. They were all shot on my iPhone. They were very spontaneous, they were random, and I just really enjoyed them. They're in colour, which is the main difference between this year's work and last year's work. Last year I worked entirely in black and white, apart from my prints at the beginning of the year, but everything else was in black and white. So yeah, I have transferred these images into black and white, which I did here. The only thing is, I feel that the black and white images really take away this sense of presence in the images. Like, there's different ways of explaining presence, which is one thing that I also wish to draw into my work. Last year I started working with the work of Cindy Sherman. The reason why my pieces last year turned into video was because I tried taking images in the style of Cindy Sherman, trying to catch the emotion that she did, and I just couldn't do it. So I moved to moving images because it gave me more scope to catch emotion, to catch physical presence, to catch emotional presence in my work, which I couldn't do in the still images. What I found is, with these images here, there is this sense of a natural presence because of the light, because of the colours. In this image you can see there just seems to be life breathing out of it, whereas the second I changed it into black and white, it just drained it of its natural presence. So that's the theme that I like. I like working with that theme. Obviously there is different presences. The presence that an artist can put into the work. There's then the sense of presence that a person or an animal can give off in the image. Then there's the type of image can give off an emotional presence to the viewer. You've also then got the light presence, which can then give something, just anything that can give off an aura to the audience and can make them perceive the image in a certain way. I just find it fascinating, and that's one thing I'm just trying to master, trying to capture all of these different types of presence in my work. Obviously, once again, I've explained here in my sketchbook why I've done it into black and white and the reasons why I feel that it takes the presence away. I've taken these images and I printed them up really big in my studio, and even though they've just hit the boundary of where the quality is just a little tiny bit off, like I couldn't blow them up any bigger due to the way they were shot, but just by putting them on my wall in my tiny little darkened studio bit, it breathes like this sense of, it's like a window in the room. It's got no windows, obviously, it's the tiniest black room, and it just breathes this light energy into it. I don't know, it's giving emotion off without even trying.